Welcome to another episode of True Modern Democracy. And by another one, I mean it's not really another one. I mean it's just one. We haven't done one in quite a while, so it's one with our new fancy background and stuff. And you know whatnot. Hey, Josh, my brother Josh, looking good, buddy. What's you saying?
Hey, not much, buddy. How you doing?
Good. And well, were
it's not two mere dummies anymore, is it?
We are three.
Three.
Hello, Dave, my brother Dave.
Hey, Davey.
Where am I?
You're right there.
Who are you people?
You guy.
Oh.
You're over there. I see you right there.
That's me. Hey guys, how are you doing?
Good.
Doing pretty good,
Good.
buddy. Good to see you. Good to hear you.
Nice. Thanks for having me on the show.
You're welcome, buddy. You're welcome.
Well,
Thanks for coming
I'll
by.
say that after. Maybe it's probably better to say that after.
Yeah, we're gonna throw you under the bus here in a second. So.
Oh yeah, it couldn't be any worse than I did.
yeah. It's stupid about cars. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's all good. That was pretty fun. We, if you're new to this show or whatever, we also have another show we do, Stupid About Cars. Dave and I started that about a million years ago. And a lot of audio episodes are available online and stuff like that. But Joshy and I have been doing this True Modern Democracy thing, and it is squared because it's two mere dummies.
So now I guess we're cubed.
We are cubed now.
Cubed
we are three mere dummies. Otherwise,
well, you could do two
TMD.
mere dummies and a smart guy.
No, TMD still works.
Yeah, TMD still works.
Yeah, no, that still works. Two mere dummies, three mere dummies.
Yeah.
It's still
you could
TMD squared.
Or you could do like 2.5.
Well, what's 2 squared?
Well, you're better than half a dummy.
What?
He's full dummy.
Full dummy. I'll give you full dummy.
I consider myself more stupid than dummy.
I do as well too, but but
I'm just stupid.
It is what it is. We, the concept behind the show has been trying to offer solutions to the problems, and that's what I think that we need to figure out a way to let our glorious fans understand what this is about. We will be talking about current politics like every other talk show that's out there. But the twist being is to try and offer a solution.
By a bunch of dummies.
By a bunch of dummies. I mean, most of them are going to be pretty
and that's stupid. That's the problem with politics nowadays is everybody argues, whether it's your House of Representatives, the Senate, our Parliament, even our Senate or whatever, which it's another story on how useless that is. Well, but they just argue and complain and bitch about stuff, but don't offer solutions.
No.
No,
government is notorious for not having a solution.
They identify a problem and then they just go,
And then throw some money at it into studies, and then and then you wound back up to square one.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely.
And
so we're here to fix it all, right? Well, you guys are here to fix it all.
We're gonna try and fix it all, but so we'll use an example. Well, here's something that I was thinking about earlier. We want to come up with a tagline as well. That would be my end game of this show. We'll talk about that in a moment.
Some brainstorming taglines. This is fun. This will be good.
What relating to politics and everything that fills in politics, like, so somebody asked me, "What do you talk about?" And I'm like, "We'll talk about anything." Everything ends up relating to politics. So one topic that we were discussing was about addiction and kids. When it comes to drugs and stuff like that. I used an example of, I thought there was a movie, I thought it was called The Wave. And it was something that I was at Jewy school and I saw. Hebrew school.
Hebrew
school. I said Jewy
school.
Yeah.
It's okay for you to say that, though.
It's okay, yeah. But at Hebrew school, the rabbi's wife, Gloria Silverman, God rest her soul. I believe it was her that showed us this movie that I thought was called The Wave. And it was took place inside of a high school, and it was showing all these kids getting involved in this organization, sort of this group that they were joining. And, well, it wasn't exactly the best things that they were doing, but it was for a good cause, sort of thing. So the kids all got behind it and everybody was doing it. So, well, everybody's doing it, but well, the end of the movie, they're going to meet their fearless leader that nobody's ever met before. They didn't even know what his name was or anything. And they go into the gymnasium or whatever it was at school, and there's TV set up where they're going to look. And of course, it's Hitler. That was their fearless leader. So it was showing how easy it could be to get people to follow you, to do things that they really don't want to do. So I want to try.
So a religious school taught you this.
Well, yeah. Well, they're showing how it can happen, right? Like how easy it is to happen, because you sit there as a kid and you're like, how is this possible? How could this happen? Well,
but the religion does that all the time.
Oh yeah, yep. No, absolutely. I mean, that's.
It's just funny that they showed you, yeah.
Yeah, anyway. Well, it teaches you a good lesson, I think.
Well, don't trust anybody.
Don't trust anybody. Yeah, basically.
Well, exactly.
So, but I wanted to equate.
That's the top of a good lesson for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to try and do something like that and figure out a way. How do you teach kids about addiction?
Well, they live it now.
Well,
they live addiction,
but like
what kind of addiction are you talking about?
Substance
abuse or
substance,
everything?
My kids are addicted to their cell phone and the internet and social media.
Yeah.
Exactly.
How do you teach that the badness, the repercussions? How do you teach? Like we were actually.
Well, you can't teach an addicted person about addiction, in my opinion.
What's that?
It's tough to teach an addicted person about addiction because they're addicted. Like my kids are. Yeah.
But we were talking specifically about drugs. We were talking about stuff that gets laced with fentanyl, right? And it scares me. I mean, we've got weeds legal now everywhere, although the federal government does blah blah blah. But weeds fine. You can do whatever you want, and nobody's ever died from weed. Even places like Denver, they've allowed mushrooms and all sorts of other stuff too. That nobody's ever died from really, and it doesn't really affect you much. Where in the reality we know, weed can cause problems. It can cause social problems. It can cause all sorts of problems, but more so on the concern about more serious drugs like heroin or something like that.
Like a gateway drug.
Weed is a gateway drug. But how do you teach? But then addiction became into it, and the video games and the social media and all this stuff. So how do you, as a government, if you will, how do you mitigate this?
The problem is the society is addicted. Our society is addicted to shopping. Our whole life's an addiction.
Oh God, yeah.
And that's exactly it. We've been bred this way. To be addicted. Everybody has some sort of
consume.
I kind of blame the government. I mean, I'll be honest. I kind of blame the government. I think the
blame
government
blame the media,
right? Media, but the government's supposed to be.
But again,
the
you're talking about a profitable business. Addiction makes money.
Yeah.
Right, and they're not. These companies are going to be like, no. I mean, back in the day, they put Coke and Coca-Cola.
Remember, this is true modern democracy. This is us. Yeah. We're the leaders of the.
How do we solve addiction, Barry?
Barry for emperor. No, not how do you solve addiction. How do you teach?
Educate
the
addiction.
Repercussions. How do you educate that? So, like I'm saying, that movie that I spoke about, that I probably spoke absolutely incorrectly about, and I'm probably completely wrong, as I usually am, right? But how do we combat that as a government? How do we go to the schools or something and say, hey, here's part of the curriculum that we want on your agenda?
You'd have to reprogram society not to consume.
I mean, there's already programs in place in the high schools and as early as elementary school. We have the RIDE program here, but obviously they're not very effective forms of education because you still have, we're at an all-time high for addiction. So obviously the way that we have things set up now isn't working.
No, that's why
it's a tough question. It's a tough question on how do we get a system that works? How do we educate the children? I honestly don't think I'd have a.
Well, I would think you could just get a shot.
So I'm thinking, for drinking and driving,
like a vaccine, eh?
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking drinking and driving. drinking and driving.
That would be
Yeah.
You're not addicted anymore.
Here, just take this drug and you won't be addicted to drugs anymore.
Okay, problem solved. There we go.
We did it.
There we go. Done.
Hey, we're just using the same philosophy as our government, right?
Yeah,
that's right.
I guess kind of, sort of. Yeah. Jeez, eh?
Replace one addiction for another, and you're cured.
Yeah.
What?
But I think I was thinking like.
But is there not good addictions and bad addictions, Barry?
I don't think any addiction's necessarily.
I don't think any addiction might be.
I disagree with that because, like, people that are like Elon Musk, he was addicted to making he has an addiction to I don't know what the word I'm looking for,
making stuff that doesn't work. What?
Yeah, well, but that drives him. His addiction to that drive is what got him to build the Tesla. Like, there is some addictions that aren't a bad thing.
At what cost? At what cost, though? The man works.
Wait, so you think Teslas are good? What they stand for is good. What is good about Tesla? Sorry.
No, I'm saying there's some good things that have come out of his technology. Come out, you can't disagree with that, right? Like, there has been some good. Like, you don't think Elon Musk has done any good in the world?
I don't know. I think the Starlink thing that he did is pretty
Starlink's
nifty.
pretty cool. Yeah, Starlink's pretty.
But I guess my point is, what do you I guess most people that
I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed by him. That's I think.
Well, let's use somebody else an example. But somebody that's addicted to success and that pushes the envelope because of that addiction, is that a negative thing? Like, some people that are consumed with their work.
It might make positives
for other
people, but on a personal level,
ask his kids about that.
Yeah, but there's good and bad in everything. Like, obviously,
what I'm saying, but I also question this. Remember, I also questioned this and said the repercussions of addiction. So if the repercussions of Tesla, of Elon, are being successful and making money and doing good for the world, fine. That's repercussions.
That's a good addiction.
Well, that's fine. I said repercussions. So
okay,
that's the the key of it there. And this is teaching kids too. So like I'm saying. So I can remember seeing the blood and guts and vehicles wrapped around telephone poles when they came to us talking us about drinking and driving.
Yeah,
those kind of sunk in. So I'm thinking, if I took some crackheads straight off the street and brought them in and put them in your 4-year-old's classroom and made them be the teacher for the day.
Yeah, but
and then at the end of the day, like, hey, kids.
That's it. I mean, I example it as COVID, though. Society doesn't think that's ever going to happen to them. It's like when COVID first came out, it's like, don't worry about COVID. It's not going to happen to me. You know what I mean? And then it started happening. Like, people don't react until it actually affects them.
But exactly. But that's what I'm saying. So put the crackhead, put the heroin addict as the teacher.
My kid will be like, well, I'll never be that guy. Like, those kids will be like, oh, I'll never be that guy.
Nah,
that's not me. That's not my world.
I better never be that guy.
Well, hopefully.
I'm saying I'm not. It's not. I smoked. I knew if you smoke, this can happen and that can happen.
Definitely.
It happened. Do you think
for me, with my kids and that stuff?
Do you think I said when I smoked? Do you think I said, "Oh yeah, I'll wait until I have a heart attack"?
You did,
right? Yeah,
did.
I did. Yeah. Right? I died 3 times. Right?
Yeah. So until it affects you, that's when you react. And until it actually affects you, that's when you react. And that's our society.
Right. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. We're very reactive.
To say that your kid is going to look and say, well, I'm not going to be that guy. That's fine. But show them that guy. Put them hand to hand with that guy. This is exactly what it is. So he can sit there all day and itching and scratching at his holes and, oh, my God,
Oh, and bring in, like, the worst of the worst, too. Like, the meth addict that's lost his limbs.
Oh, yeah.
But it's still not going to combat the fact that people are going to be like, that's not going to ever happen to me. Like, people do believe they're better than that until they're not. Right? Like,
true.
I mean, it's anything in the world. It's like we're all such a reactive society.
Okay. Then what's your answer, smart guy?
I'm just trying to. I guess no. I don't know. I think it is not a bad idea. I mean, my kids have been downtown Vancouver and saw Tent City, and they're like, oh geez, like, I'll never do drugs, Dad. But that's today.
Well,
right?
But
and in 2 weeks from now, they're going to forget that because that's what we do now.
But hold on, and I agree with you. Except they saw Tent City.
Yeah.
That's where the crack addicts and the heroin addicts live. We know that, or we think that, or whatever. I've never hung out in Tent City. But they weren't spending the day with the heroin addict. Yeah. I think there's a huge difference there. And especially if it was in a controlled environment. I'm not saying take Michael down, kick him out downtown Vancouver, Tent City, and say, I'll come pick you up tomorrow.
Right? But I don't think your idea is a new idea, Barry. Like they used to take kids to jail and take them to jails and be like, if you keep this lifestyle up, this is where you're going to be. And they have like shows on it.
Do you think that worked?
It didn't.
That worked.
It's still happening.
That really worked.
I think that would probably work on some of those problem children.
Yeah. And okay, great.
Well, you got that. What's that show?
But what
they
about
meet
everybody?
kids just like them, and it gets worse. Right? They meet people, and then they think it's okay. Well, this guy does it, and he's in jail, so I'm going to do it.
I've known people that went through that and went to the military academy, and and did all and went through those things, and it worked for them. They might still have other issues, but they didn't go down the road that they were heading down, right?
Yeah. So your question is, how do you combat addiction?
Yeah.
How do you educate?
How do you educate about
and then that's where the
repercussions of addiction?
Exactly, and that's where it's all going to start too. That's how it's a good stepping stone to the elimination of the addiction.
Yeah, well, that's
you have to educate. You have to educate, and
that's my
the way
solution
we educate
so
right
far.
now doesn't work.
Yeah. My solution so far is how to educate the repercussions of addiction. I think that if we can figure out how to do that is another ball game, right?
I still like Davey's idea. Just give them a vaccine.
Yeah,
we're all good.
Magic pill.
I mean, we could talk about this forever.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a simple answer to that.
No, definitely.
We've been trying forever,
right? But it's interesting to talk about. So
the point is going to be an answer to that. I think there's an answer for everything. There is going to be an answer, but whether that answer works for everybody, I don't believe that because everybody's an individual. No. So one answer could for you might not be the same answer for me, Barry.
But you do have to work with the bulk of people. You have to.
I definitely think people are visual,
for the bulk.
And they learn from visual stimulation. So if you see like a crackhead, like I remember we were walking in Kamloops and there was a guy passed out with a needle in his arm. Both my kids saw that and they both clinged to me like, oh my God, Dad, what is that? And I explained to them and, and that was a visual deterrent.
Prince George.
Right?
Yeah, Prince George.
The zombie walks. We were all hanging out and the cop came out while we were having a cocktail on the street. Remember? Yeah. And we were all worried like, oh, maybe we shouldn't be drinking out here. And she's like, no, y'all ain't doing crack. So cool.
Yeah, we'll see.
Right? Yeah.
Good old Prince George.
Nothing's wrong with Prince George.
But crack, you're cool.
Yeah. So anyways, but I think that if we do this, we talked about that. I'm hoping people will watch this and
come up with a solution.
Below. Leave a comment below, and maybe we can eventually compile this all together and come up with something. So, on to the next thing, and then we're done. Because we don't want to make these shows long. But we want to come up with a tagline. We already talked about TMD, 3 mere dummies, right? Whatever it's going to be, 2 mere dummies, and the trifecta of dummies. But so the name is one thing, whatever.
The threesome of dummies.
I ain't in the middle of that one.
Oh, I could switch us around real quick, buddy.
No.
I'm the meat in this sandwich.
No.
Well, there was Prince George.
Anyways,
I prefer fajitas.
So tagline. We need a tagline. I've been thinking of a bunch, but we have a friend of ours that was also thinking of what to do as a tagline. And I will enlighten you guys.
Roger, I'm coming at you from an undisclosed location. That's right here. And about now, clean underpants are required because we're about to unravel true modern democracy. Get your times right.
It's true modern democracy. Get your times right with clean underpants.
That works.
Well, that's something,
Thanks,
right?
Raji.
There's a thing there, right?
Thanks, Raji.
I was trying to come up with some other ones. I was talking about like the political show politicians hate, because I'd love to be hated by politicians.
Oh, hell
yeah. Or the political
That's
show
essentially our
politicians.
goal, Barry. That's when we succeeded.
Well, and you know me, I'm
really
like, they're all dummies.
Do you really think politicians like any of us, though?
Well, no, and that's the second one. The political show politicians fear, because if any of what we talk about comes to fruition, they're all out of work, right? Because they're going to be replaced by trained monkeys.
I think that's a great
monkeys.
Tagline, Barry. The podcast that politicians fear. That is
the show
good.
Politicians Fear, reinventing democracy. I think that's interesting. Well, I think we are reinventing democracy. We don't need representation and blah blah blah. So, putting fear into the eyes of politicians. The talk militia. I'm sure that one's already been taken. I thought that was kind of brutal. My favorite one: vote for Barry for Emperor of the Universe.
I'm pretty sure you wrote that one, Barry.
One more time. Vote Barry for Emperor of the Universe. Thanks. Thank you.
What do you think, Josh?
No vote.
I'd rather see him as the Empress.
No vote. Just vote no.
No vote is a no vote. Just vote no.
Just vote no.
Vote
True modern democracy. Just vote no.
Can I do a half vote?
Yeah.
Like 30%?
30% is not half.
Wow.
How many calipers on a 2
I'm
caliper
giving you
piston?
half of half there.
Half of half is still not 30%. And I gotta tell you, Dave, when you wake up in the morning, you should not do math.
Their cologne works 100% all the time, 90% of the time, Barry.
90. Oh, okay. Sorry. What else did I have it? No, that's it. Oh, the non-political yet political show against political politicking.
I think we could be like, I don't know, the cure for political madness.
The cure for political madness? I like that. That's kind of cool. Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, think about it. We'll come up with more, and hopefully 3 people listen to this or watch it or do something.
Hopefully. I'm sure we'll get at least 3 people to listen to it.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, Deanna, Allison.
Yeah. No, my wife just puts these things on the desk and then hits the mute button.
Hit the mute button. Well, at least she watches it, sort of. You know.
She listens to enough of my shit.
Yeah, no doubt, No doubt.
Right I don't know.
Huh?
Politics.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. Well, I guess that's the end of that, right? And I don't know. I had an outro, I think. There we go. Do a little outro. We'll say our goodbyes. Don't forget, like us, subscribe to us, join our Talk Militia.
Leave a comment.
Leave a comment.
Impart some wisdom.
Yeah, something. A little something.
Tell us we're wrong.
We're not wrong, though. Can't be wrong.
Well, prove us wrong. Prove us wrong.
Remember, kids, vote Barry for Emperor of the Universe.
Please don't, kids. Please
don't. Much. Jeez.
I don't think the universe has ever had a good emperor.
They're about to.
What's a good emperor?
Me.